Hi everyone, so I have here some questions from one of our attendees for the first workshop in Folkestone. One of the things that we often do is ask people to submit anonymous questions if they'd like the topic to be specifically tailored around something that's practical for them, but they're not necessarily confident enough to be able to stand up in the event and actually speak about their own life. Obviously, I'm encouraging people to do all of those things, but the question that I wanted to address from today is trying to please everyone all the time. So this particular person finds herself always trying to please people and putting other people's needs in front of her own. Okay, so the first thing to be clear about is where that's held in the body. Okay, so pleasing people or being pleased yourself is held around the lower back and the lower abdomen. Okay, it's connected to the energy of the sacral chakra, which is to do with attraction and repulsion. So effectively what we're looking to do is to attract what pleases us, what we like, what we want, what we need, and then start trying to push away experiences or physical things that at the lowest level we just would prefer not to experience. At the worst level would actually be repulsive. It's kind of like, that whole reflex action of throwing something up, getting it out starts in that area of the body. Like there's something that the body doesn't want to have an interaction with. Okay, so pleasing somebody else is coming from an assumption that a particular thing, like whether it's a particular action from ourselves, a particular set of words, a particular kind of interaction with them, would increase their joy, would be pleasing for them, or would be something that they couldn't do without. So that's something that they would need. Okay. Now, there's a couple of problems with that. How often have you ever found yourself thinking that you really want something, and then when you get it, you don't really want it anymore? Okay, so wants and needs and preferences are continually changing, and they're affected by our environment, by what other people have around us. And so to suggest that they can be set, even for ourselves, is really one major flaw in the argument. And then to suggest that somebody else would know their own needs and they would be set would equally then be almost like a double flaw. So the problem there is I could provide exactly what someone said they needed yesterday and they don't need it today, and that leaves them disappointed. And if my happiness is based on them being happy, then I will be disappointed. Okay, so it's always going to be this flux going on, this really hit and miss situation. And what's much more consistent is to be looking at our own needs and making sure that we're centered, and then from being centered and being content is effectively what we're talking about. So, not craving any external content. Then we can start to look at how can we then share that experience with our environment. How can we support other people in being pleased and content? But supporting somebody in being content or pleased is not the same as pleasing them. Okay? One pitfall that I often find when I work with clients is that when they're in some kind of relationship with someone, whether it's an intimate relationship, a business relationship, or a family, there's this assumption that you're supposed to now take my feelings more seriously and I take your feelings more seriously. And again, this pitfall means that there are times when I really would need to be centered on myself to achieve something, but I'm not allowed to do that because I've got somebody else who really desperately needs something or is being very adamant that they want something. And so then immediately I'm pulled away from my center. One of the things I teach my high-level sports people is that at times you need to be able to cut yourself off from every other area of life and what it needs or wants from you to be able to focus on your performance. So that's connected to being self-centered or selfish. And in those instances, a small amount of that energy can be very much a matter of self-preservation. A lot of lower back issues I've discovered come from where the body is forcing the person to actually take some time for themselves, to actually center themselves and be self-centered or selfish, because they're so much outside of themselves, not in their center, not getting what they need. And a very simple way to think about this that I'd like to finish on is consider that it's impossible to give something away if you don't have it yourself. So if you're constantly trying to please others, but you're not pleased and content to start off with, you're effectively giving away something from nothing. That is very much a recipe of ending up with your body in scarcity, in worry, and even relating to your own thought processes as being threatening to your health and well-being. Make sure that you're getting what you need today and every day before you start to be giving out to others, which is exactly why on the safety announcements on the plane they say put your own face mask on, your air mask on, before you attend to somebody else.